They'll take the information down.
Right up. Right up.
Surprise!
It's a surprise for your birthday.
Fantastic! Great! It's great! Let's let John.
Happy birthday, dear Gary! Happy birthday to you! Hey, did you have anything planned for today?
Anyway.
He was a little delayed. He was calling his lawyer.
All right, Gary, this is over now. We're going in your house and watch Eagles game. That's the rest of the day. And we'll depend on you.
Hold that. The Sixers game, and then we
Such a good start.
That's better. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, here we go. Look back.
Anybody want a pickle?
Worth right now, so hold on to them.
John and Jeffrey.
Those at the office, he's serving well.
Rewind it.
I don't want this. I want to
With a little love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion, I want to stop. Thank you, baby. I want to stop.
Watching all those pictures, are you sure you're just 50?
What's in store? I can tell you that there's no one that I would rather spend the day with than the people on this bus.
We hope you can say that at the end of the day. You would rather spend time with people on this bus than with the finest people in the world.
Right. Yeah. Neither royalty nor title would make me change my mind.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, and some of the people here are even athletic.
What?
Of the Earl right here. This is where Earl first saw the light of day. And let me just mention to you that the only person that was around at this time that was close to Gary.
His mother.
No. Alexis is here. She's going to say a few things about Gary's birth.
And then I'll tell you the story behind it.
This said, whatever it is, there's U.S. currency here.
Look at it carefully.
Yeah.
Do we need that for something?
No. Not
Well-
to be happy, of course not.
It's going to be on the test.
No.
Yeah, it's on the
this
test.
is the test later.
This is the one real official version. It comes from the coroner's office.
You know what's interesting? I think.
Shut the hell up. Yes. This is an official report from the coroner's office. As you know, he was a stillborn. 9:50. After several minutes of negotiation,
I would wonder what he usually puts people in.
there was a need to have the cash surgically removed from his grubby hands. There were animal rights activists who succeeded in having the procedure blocked. Euthanasia was legal at the time, and my parents proceeded in teaching him his first words. Put me to sleep, you assholes. You remember that guy? Oh, yeah, certainly. Thank you.
Sorry. We should all get out and take a picture.
Let's take a family picture.
1, 2, 3.
Right, you get it. All right. Look over here, everybody. Get down, Daniel. That's it. Quickly. Down, John.
Say cheese.
All right, got it.
Oh, it was a great time here. First of all, Gary's on the Stephen's on the telephone, and Gary's telling Stephen what to say to people. How to react, what to say, how much to pay, and why is he so stupid? So I present to you Gary and Stephen at Snyder Avenue.
I've never lived up to his expectations, unfortunately. But as you can see, the neighborhood is still thriving. Both Gary and Joey Bishop were responsible for the redevelopment. Unfortunately, Gary's markups became too high.
Once again, we hit. Stephen and I both hit upon that theme.
The locals do regret the building is an eyesore to the neighborhood.
All right, here we are at 1520 Washington Avenue. This was
Garage door.
This was the young entrepreneur's first venture, Mr. Plywood. And we all know that the reason for this was so that Gary would have enough money many, many years later and marry his
Still waiting.
darling Vicky.
We should go. Let's go to the next.
Michael had a tendency to look at the glass half full, half empty.
No, I think that was the toilet here.
It was on the toilet.
Now, I also want to tell you. Tell me about
Back in time.
You gotta put the microphone up here, right next to your mouth.
Talk this way.
Let me hold it. Let me hold it. Let me hold it.
I wasn't going to bring it up, Mom. We figured that at 15 years old, Vicky didn't know enough yet to be shutting off her mind and her body from everybody else.
She wasn't shutting off anything.
Gary was all right, but nobody else. And so we were, sort of saying, Vicky, cut it out and everything. So then one night, Daddy and I were, Morris and I,
Sounds like a fairy tale.
it's like, and they weren't making out. Gary wasn't entwined in Vicky. He was entranced with a telephone conversation he was making.
Is that your new store, Dad?
And it turned out that Gary was talking to his dad. Do you remember this? Telling him about an accident that he had just been involved in. And Gary, his father was asking him what happened, and Gary was explaining everything to him. His dad was telling him what he thought he ought to do. And Gary was sitting there and listening so attentively and so respectfully that all of a sudden I thought, I don't know Gary. All I know is Gary, the brash young man, smart alecky, I know it all.
Hasn't changed at all.
And here, all of a sudden, I see that somebody's hoistgelachen and Balabatish centered Gary is a mensch. And in that moment, I was able to see what a wonderful human being he would grow into. I knew that he would make a wonderful husband for my daughter.
Is it always go with your first instinct? When did you change your
I want
mind?
to talk.
Why?
I'm not finished talking. And that the feeling of love and respect and trust and benevolence that flowed between Gary and his dad would ensue onto his own children. And I felt good then. And that's just how it's been. And I hope for the next 70 years, Gary,
Thank
to
you,
continue.
Mother.
I'd like to remember. You see the Brighton sign up top?
Yeah.
If you look up top, you'll see it says the Brighton.
Was trained out here.
As you see, there are no addresses on the obvious addresses on the outside that started when Gary was living here.
Here at Betsy Ross sewed the first flag.
That's it. This is 41 right here.
Right here, 46.
Yeah, we're right over there.
We had close to a. Would you turn that music
The
down?
house that's painted
Let me turn the
white.
music down.
The house that's painted white
Right,
and blue right
pretty.
here.
Very nice.
This is where Gary spent his formative years. And this brings back a lot of memories because Gary lived here, I guess, from the time that he was maybe 7 till the time he was 15? 15.
Time.
Incredible.
This was a mountain.
He did teach me how to get on, but he never taught me how to use the brakes or to steer.
That wall, that second wall on the left-hand
I
side
think
is
after
what
6
Stephen
months
hit
of lessons.
and broke his arm.
Oh.
Master.
We really really thought that it was a normal function. He was performing in the closet, and we surprised him one day and found him cross-dressing. As a matter of fact, he's been in several of David's fashion shows. You probably didn't recognize him. The makeup really did a job.
So he knows how to get down.
Yeah, this is a very steep hill here. Unless you've seen him on the ski slope.
Not so fast, guys.
There was somebody in the back of me pushing the button.
Dad's tomatoes are still here.
Is this your dad who's chipping the wall?
Yeah, I was right up there.
I knew he was chipping the wall.
Enough, he's really bad. I mean, I was really. Mexico.
You know what? You couldn't believe what ran
This is where. This is 9 yards wall that Gary sat on when he had to play defense. Right here.
And over here was the
yard before.
Judge Rose
Jump
lived.
over.
And Judge
Clear over the guy.
going to his yard.
Not even like.
And anybody who went out to the wall,
Clear over.
or arrested
Michael! No,
Do you remember this? This was it. It was Chink. This was Chink. It was. This is where we played.
this is Chink.
Now this was a tough walk because it wasn't flat. This was a really tough. Seriously, you hit the contestant was Jacqueline Candies.
Martha Gaiman.
We were very, very fortunate as kids to have our father own a candy store a block away from our school. That entitled us to go to walk to this by the Duncan Company, and needless to say, Gary was one of the biggest yo-yos in the neighborhood.
Play with your yo.
Put this down for 1 second.
That's unbelievable.
I know. Move back.
I know most of the people in that picture.
Oh. Hold it up and back up.
Cool.
Back
Tell
up.
us about West Philly High.
Yeah.
Your experience is West Philly High.
Now, my more memorable experience, where I got my first political lesson,
Yeah.
I was nominated for student council. There were 4 nominees, and I lost 8-7. The woman who got 8 voted for herself, and I voted for her.
Aw. Dumb.
I would think I was too modest at the time to vote for myself.
Impossible.
But she then became president of the school because I was her campaign manager, and I had 2 younger brothers, and my younger
Hillary Rodham.
and my 2 younger brothers
Voted for her.
This is Wingate Hall, where we were born.
Sylvan Bilden
Nope.
was also known as.
No,
It's right there. It says Sylvan.
No, that's another place. Right there.
But Michael, the building
Same guy or not?
has been knocked down.
So my mother walks into his bedroom,
Her bedroom.
somebody's bedroom. There's Gary lying down with the violin and said,
All right, go.
You can tell the Philadelphia Baptist Church.
We'd like to have those.
This is it right here. Okay.
this is where Gary and I went to day camp. I think it was.
Those Jews always become Baptists when they get money.
Get over here. This is,
Let's
I'll just
tell
take
them
a
a few
picture.
stories about this one over here, the long
Your
one.
choice yours.
I think the miles.
Michael's Winter Wonderland.
Which house?
Yeah.
On the right.
I used to have
Right
to
with the
mow the
pretty,
lawn. Gary, I just wanted to say.
mean that one?
I hope I shot the right one. No, straight ahead. Yeah, it's very
That was a
pretty.
steep hill,
Landscape.
Gary.
Now, we bought that window treatment in 1968, 69. That was our first house of many that was built sideways.
Counselor here. Wow. Gary, what do you have to say about your years at Lower Meridian?
It's year.
No, he was here. He was
2
here for
years.
2
Two,
years.
I was there
my.
for 2 years.
Impressive.
I made a tremendous impact on the school and the people here.
I was here for 2 years.
Mr. Hutton, for example, I think you
Well,
made an impact on him.
my senior year, I took a course called Social Problems. And we took a class trip to the Youth Study Center, which was like a prison for youthful offenders. John? John? I guess you didn't realize I was here.
Oh my God!
What's the score? It's not over yet?
And even though he doesn't act it, and despite the way he moves on the tennis court, and despite the color of his hair, and the colors of his beard, Gary is about to be 50 years old. And we are here to celebrate this very important occasion. Now the question is, why are we here tonight? And the answer to that is very simple and very obvious to Gary. It's Sunday night and we're out to eat. And I'm trying to earn points with my husband, and we are here because this is where we eat on Sunday night. And did you expect this? He did not expect it, but I guarantee you that this is going to be worth something for me, right?
Oh, yeah. This counts as a night
This
of
is Gary's.
cooking.
This is Gary's. It is the only place that he will ever agree to go out to eat, and so that's why we are here tonight.
Gary, could you share with us what this means to Vicky?
Hey, right.
I'll let you know tomorrow morning.
Why are we, this particular group of people, here tonight? And this may be obvious to Gary, but it may not be obvious to the rest of you. And I think it's really important that you understand it. About a year ago, when we started thinking about Gary's approaching 50th birthday, he said to me, no matter what you do, I do not want you to make me a party. I do not want to give a party with a lot of people. And he was very adamant about it. And when people started asking me what we were going to do for Gary's birthday, I said, I'm sorry, Gary doesn't want a birthday party. And nobody would believe it. Because after all, he is the mayor. And after all, he is the person who can go to a community dinner with 500 people and never once sit down at the table because he's busy working through the entire night. And he is the guy who you can't walk with on the beach for more than 10 feet because he stops every 5 seconds to talk to somebody he knows. And whether it's somebody he saw yesterday or somebody he hasn't seen in 20 years, he'll stand there and he'll talk for 20 minutes.
It is a torture.
And he is the man, and he is the man who either has a microphone attached to his mouth or a telephone attached to his ear. So why wouldn't he want a big party? But it's true, he didn't. He said to me, maybe a small family gathering.
Putting that in the list.
And so here we are at a small family gathering. And basically, we are all here tonight because we are all his family. And this is the group that Gary would have put on the list if he had drawn up a guest list. When it comes time to celebrating special moments in his life, Gary wants to be with you. And that's why we are here tonight. And the question is, why are we here tonight? And not 2 weeks from tonight, which is his actual birthday. And there are a couple of reasons for that. And one is that because of the Thanksgiving holidays, we were able to gather together the greatest number of the relatively few people who are most important to him. And we have 6 of our family in from out of town, and it's really wonderful that you are all able to come. Let's see, Rebecca's here, my mom and dad is here, and David's here, and Jeffrey's here, and who else did I miss? Daniel's here. Daniel, I didn't know you weren't here.
John's from out of town.
And because you're all here, this makes it a very special night for Gary, I'm sure. There is, well, I have to say that I'm sorry that certain people aren't here, and I guess I definitely should mention that because there are a few people who couldn't be with us tonight, who weren't able to make it, and we really miss them. And Adam, I really tried to have it at a time when everybody could be here, but it just wasn't possible. Adam is in Switzerland, and we're really missing him a lot tonight, and I hope that we'll send him the video, and we'll send him the pictures, and maybe and Mitchell, my nephew Mitchell, is not with us today, and that's the problem when you're a doctor. You just
we got the better part of that deal anyway.
Sorry about that. And my brother Howard and my sister-in-law Lynn are not here, and Howard is clear across on the other side of the world, and he sends his best to you. And I know that he wishes that he were here today. Maybe sometime you'll be able to have a birthday that Howard will be there. We haven't had him yet, but maybe sometime. But anyway, we thank all of you who are here with us for being here.
Yeah.
But there is another reason that we are here tonight. And it's not because I thought it would be easier to pull a surprise off tonight than any other night, because Lord knows, and everybody who knows Gary knows that it is impossible to pull a surprise off on Gary. He is the biggest snoop. I mean, he asks a million questions. It wouldn't have mattered if it was tonight or 3 months from now. It would have been equally impossible, although he didn't know everything that was happening. He probably didn't know we were coming to Yang Ming because it's Hanukkah. He never would have expected it. But that is the reason that we're here, Gary. You said to me, we're going to Yang Ming for Hanukkah. And I think that there are a lot of things. I just wanted to say that I think that there are a lot of things about Hanukkah that are very relevant to Gary, and that I think it's a very appropriate time to be celebrating his birthday. And I just want to tell you what that means. To begin with, Hanukkah is a very joyous family celebration. It is one of the most joyous of all of the Jewish holidays. And it's joyous because we're celebrating the happy occasion for the rededication of the temple. And I don't want to go through the entire story of Hanukkah with you because probably most of you know it, but I'm going to give you like a little synopsis so that you can understand the point that I'm going to make afterwards. But in about the year 167 of before the Common Era, the Syrians had rule over the land of Palestine, and they were led by Antiochus, the king. And Antiochus had decided that he wanted to force all the people under his rule to adopt the Greek culture. And he outlawed the practice of Judaism. And it actually became a capital offense to practice Judaism. And there was this Jewish priest named Mattathias, who along with his 5 sons and a small band of rebels went into the hills and waged guerrilla warfare against the Syrian soldiers. And they were a tiny little band, and the Syrian army was very, very large, but through their seichel, their good wisdom and their bravery, they were able to overcome this massive army of Syrians, and finally they were able to liberate the city of Jerusalem and reclaim the temple. However, when they got to the temple, it had been totally defiled by the Syrians. And it was a terrible state. It had been made into a Greek gymnasium, and all kinds of horrible things were happening there. This really shocked all of the warriors who had come back to rededicate their temple. And so they set about to cleanse and purify the temple. And after they did that, they wanted to have a dedication ceremony. And what happened was that they needed to have the high priest kindle the eternal lamp in the temple. And in order to do that, you need to use uncontaminated pure oil. And they were able to find a flask that would have enough oil in it that would only burn for 1 day. And lo and behold, they lit the lamp, and the oil burned for 8 days. And that was the miracle of Hanukkah. And so when people typically think of Hanukkah, they think of it as the miracle of the oil. And it was a sign of God's blessing and his acceptance of the rededication of the temple. And that's terrific. It's a wonderful reason for us to be joyous and for us to feel that this is a very spiritual holiday. But there's another aspect to this holiday that I think is very relevant to Gary, and that makes it very important for us to celebrate Gary's birthday today. And that is that the story of Hanukkah is really about commitment to one's goals and the right to be different in a majority culture, and having the desire and courage to take a stand against the mainstream for causes that may not be popular, and be playing an activist role to ensure the rights of your family and your community, and persevering until you reach your goals. So Hanukkah really teaches us the ideals of commitment and responsibility and pride in your heritage and dedication. And there's nobody I know who better embodies these goals and these ideals than Gary. There's one last reason that Hanukkah is a great time to celebrate Gary's birthday. And you might find this a little bit of a stretch, but there's another thing that Hanukkah has in common with Gary. Hanukkah is a very simple holiday. Hanukkah is not considered to be one of our, that's right, it's not considered to be one of our major festivals. And it's definitely not the Jewish Christmas. And we do not celebrate in a lavish way, and there is no complex ritual. It is a very simple day, a very simple period of time. It's 8 days, and we're only required to light a candle in increasing order for 8 days in order to remember the miracle of the oil. Now, you might try to figure out what it is that's in common with Hanukkah when I say that Hanukkah is a simple holiday. Gary said to me many years ago when we moved into our house on Taylor and Harvest, I just ordered the draperies for the bedroom, and they were these silk things with swags, and they were very beautiful at the time. We had never had anything like it, and they just came, and I said to Gary, how do you like our new draperies? And he said, oh gosh, he says, I don't know, maybe I'll get used to it. He says, no, I'm just a simple boy from West Philly. And interestingly, the other day, Gary said to me, I'm very simple. And yesterday, he said to me, I'm simple. And honest to God, when Gary thinks of himself, it is the one word that comes to his mind when he thinks about himself. And I'm thinking to myself, simple? That no one would ever believe that you are simple. He's definitely not simple in terms of being not bright. And he is definitely not simple in terms of being single-dimensional. And he is definitely not simple in terms of being easy, as most of us know.
Easy.
So I said, what is it about Gary? And I want to tell you what it is about Gary. I want to tell you what it is about Gary that's simple. Gary is simple in that he has no airs and no pretenses.
By the way, that doesn't mean...
I thought he had 3 airs, right?
I tell you, our boys were really... I just had to clear that up.
He has no airs and pretenses. He's forthright. He's honest. He's sincere. He's loving. And he's content with who he is and what he has. And in short, he's a simply wonderful person. After you have put off all of that, I'm not finished. Now you and all of you know why we are here tonight. We are here because we love you, and we say to you, L'chaim. Would you like to rebut, or would you like to go on? Would you like to light the